Well. It's Saturday, November 15th. It's noon Eastern time. I am Bob Harris. It's time for the Week 11 Ask Me Anything live stream. But before we get to your questions, and I do see you out there, good morning, everybody. Footballguys.com is the website. I appreciate you joining me here every Saturday at noon Eastern time to ask your questions, to have discussions, to run through your hunches, to run through my hunches, share a little information and sort some things out. You find me on the Football Guys Live YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell and hit the like button. Hit the notification bell. You'll be notified anytime we go live here. That includes the Sunday morning pregame show, the trivia show. Got a new show, the Home Leagues, Football Guys Home League show. So a lot going on in Football Guys. Also check out the Audible channel, the Fantasy Football channel, and the Dynasty channel for our Football Guys Dynasty channel for all your fantasy football needs. And also go to the website. You'll know me from my articles there every week. On Thursday, I do the Fantasy Notebook. Friday, Fantasy of the Face Off, 5 questions with Gary Davenport. And my In and Out column, which just came out this morning. You can catch me on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio 7 days a week, 8 to 10, Monday through Friday on the Fantasy Channel. Tonight, 8 to 11 on the NFL Radio and the Fantasy Channel, the simulcast. And tomorrow, I'll do the pregame show with Jeff Mance. So hope if you don't get your question here, you can call into the program. So we do take calls tonight. Pat Fitzmaurice from Fantasy Pros on, of course, Jamie Calandro. I think our game tonight is Buffalo, Andrea, if you're here, and Tampa Bay. So that's very interesting. Bye weeks, get them out of your lineups. Indianapolis, New Orleans. Yes, Jonathan Taylor. That's horrible. Hope the sound is okay. If it's not, let me know, and I'll see if I can adjust it. Good morning, Royal Slade. Appreciate you coming. Hello, Patty B. BC. I don't know what that means. Good morning. Get up to speed here. I'm going to go through the news real quick, as I like to do, and get everyone up to speed on what's going on, just so we can kind of set the table. We'll have news going on throughout the entire thing. Great to see everyone. Always appreciate you spending a little time showing up here and sharing some information. And you know how we like to roll here. I'm not telling anybody what to do. We're talking about what you need to do, what you'd like to do versus what's maybe advisable or not advisable to do. But again, it's your team. Don't be afraid. Got hunches to play them. If you have strong feelings, if you can back them up with a little logic and contention. My In and Out column every Saturday. You go read it right now. I'm taking chances on players that are maybe projected not to finish as well or projected to finish more highly than I think they will. And I'm looking to gain little edges, and I run through the logic and the reasoning behind those things. And I don't just do it based on vibes, right? You can, but I don't. Like, you probably shouldn't, but maybe a little bit you should. It's your team. It's a fun game. We want to play the game. So let's get through the injuries real quick so I can get to questions when they start rolling in. This Sunday, we've got an early kickoff in Madrid, Washington at Miami. For the Commanders, no Jaden Daniels, no Terry McLaurin. Ben Sinnott, the tight end, was ruled out this morning, started out as questionable. Traylon Burks, who led the team in receiving last week, is out with a finger injury. So more luck for him. For the Miami Dolphins, D. Eskridge is questionable. Not a real big fantasy player there. The early afternoon window, the Panthers, Rico Dowdle came off the injury report. He's good to go for the Falcons. Drake London has an illness and a back issue. He's questionable. I'm expecting him to play, but we'll have to see if that's how it works out in the end. He'll probably have to wait, but he got a limited work all week. I think it's interesting when, we see the kind of teams have, like, they fall into patterns. Right. And Atlanta's pattern is usually guys are limited a couple days, Wednesday and Thursday. Then they practice fully Friday, and then they get unleashed. So we'll see what happens with him. Jamal Agnew, questionable also with a foot injury. Tampa Bay, Chris Godwin out. Bucky Irving out. They practiced on a limited basis this week. It never seemed like they had a realistic shot. If you watch the videos from practice, they were glorified walkthroughs, literally Bucky Irving taking handoffs and walking through, no pads, etc. Until we hear Bucky Irving is cleared for practice for contact, and we have not heard that yet. We've heard the opposite so far. We shouldn't get too excited. It's going to be at least week 12. Some speculate it could be week 13. We had heard previous timelines on Chris Godwin say late November, early December. So I wouldn't get out in front of this. Dalton Kincaid has a hamstring injury. He's been ruled out. Could be a multi-week injury. This would be the first week of that. If so, Dawson Knox moves up in the timeline. Jackson Hawes will probably vulture touchdowns. Houston to Tennessee. Harrison Bryant, neck and shoulder injury, is out for the Texans. Jaime Fairbairn out with a quadriceps injury. Matthew Wright will handle the kicking. CJ Stroud out, of course. Davis Mills will get the start. Cade Stover, questionable. Woody Marks is coming on a little bit. Seems like this is a great matchup for him. We'll see if Davis Mills and this offense can continue rolling in favorable matchups. On the other side of the ball, Calvin Ridley is questionable. I don't know. I saw Mike McCoy express some optimism. My colleagues at Football Guys are less optimistic, so we'll go with an uncertain outlook for him. He's missed a couple games with a hamstring injury. Did work on a limited basis. Watching the video at practice, looked like he was moving well, so we'll see. Chicago Bears, Ja'Day Walker out with a concussion, wide receiver, no big whoop for our purposes. For him, sorry, this is going through this, Ja'Day Walker. Minnesota, all clear. JJ McCarthy had a hand issue, but he's off the injury report. Green Bay at New York, the Packers versus the Gents. Matthew Golden has a shoulder injury. He is questionable. I think he'll go, but you'd have to check. Also, as Dave Kluge pointed out this week on the news feed, he's got turned 6 targets into 13 yards over the last 2 weeks. Savion Williams, questionable with foot injury. Also optimistic outlook there. Jackson Dart, of course, is out with a concussion. Jameis Winston will get the start. He'll be slinging it. Won't be slinging it Darius Slayton. He's been ruled out with a hamstring injury. Could be anyone, right? You never know when these backup quarterbacks come in. You do know he'll be slinging it, though. So Wan'Dale Robinson in play. Theo Johnson still in play. Running backs in play. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Everybody's in play. We want to get this matchup these teams have been scoring. No injuries for Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow's back at practice. Not ready to return yet. The practice window's open, though. He's got a couple more weeks to get ready. Joe Flacco will continue to start. Samaje Perine ruled out. And yes, I have to go adjust some lineups because I'm actually starting as Samaje Perine. It gets bad for me, too, people. Los Angeles at Jacksonville. Chargers in a good spot here. Quentin Johnston, questionable. He practiced fully Friday. I'm guessing he'll go. Jacksonville, no Hunter Long, no Brenton Strange, so their top 2 tight ends. Strange, they opened the practice window. Hoped he would be back this week. He is not. Brian Thomas Jr., outlook's uncertain there. He did work on a limited basis all week. Could be a next week. Adam Hutchinson over at Football Guys thinks that they might push it out a week. We'll find out. I'm not forcing him back into lineups quickly. I tend to slow roll injured players anyway. Sunday, late afternoon window. Seahawks will be without Torrey Horton. Groin and shin injuries. More room for Rashid Shaheed. Maybe Cooper Kupp. Los Angeles Rams, Devontae Adams, oblique, questionable. Sean McVay has said he will play. My expectation is he will play. It's a late afternoon kickoff. You have to have fallback plans. Start making your plans now. Move Devontae Adams to your flex position to give you the maximum availability of fallback options. You've got an extra game this week in the late afternoon window. You got those Sunday night games, got the Monday night game. So be prepared just in case something happens. I think he'll play. San Francisco at Arizona, everyone for the 49ers is good, at least on the offensive side of the ball. That means Brock Purdy is back. That means Ricky Pearsall is back. Play them like they're back. They gave him plenty of time to rest. It's a pretty favorable matchup. I'm not going overboard. I'm not forcing Brock Purdy in the top 10, but he's darn near. And Ricky Pearsall was very busy over his first few games. I have him and Jennings right in the same range, wide receiver 3, but if either of them perform better with Brock Purdy, it wouldn't surprise me. Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. out, had an appendectomy. Bam Knight is questionable with an ankle injury. He worked on a limited basis all week. That usually leads me to think that they will play, but Hutchinson and some others at Football Guys, not so sure. So you have to watch. Obviously, if you had a choice right now between Amari DiMarcado, who has worked his way out of the doghouse, and Bam Knight or Michael Carter, you have to roll with the guy who's been the most successful over the last 2 games. Michael Wilson becomes more of a play in this game. I think looks like a fine outlier. If you're taking a chance at DFS, he'll be dirt cheap. Trey McBride, of course, great chance. Jacoby Brissett will continue to start there. Remember, Zay Jones also went on IR. Simi Fieco also on IR. So lots of room in that receiving core for someone to step up. Baltimore, Cleveland, Rashad Bateman's out with an ankle injury. Justice Hill out with a toe injury. Keaton Mitchell moves up behind Derrick Henry. Maybe a little more Andre Hopkins. In this game, Cleveland Browns, everyone's good to go. Kansas City at Denver, Isaiah Pacheco has been ruled out once again with his knee injury. Seems like he'll be close soon, but Kareem Hunt remains a viable flex play just based on his goal line run. The Denver Broncos, no Nate Atkins. J.K. Dobbins is the one we're interested in. Has the foot injury, midfoot sprain is what some have reported. Talk of him going on IR. If that happens, it'll likely happen today, so they can count this game against the 4 games he'll miss. RJ Harvey moves up to the top of the rotation. Been some speculation about Jaleel McLaughlin playing more of an early down role, rotating with Harvey. And also Tyler Bidet still playing his third down role. Cecil Lammey thinks that is possible, but don't want to overstate the case. I think we have Harvey running back 22-ish range. So he's a running back too, and he's got upside, as we've seen in recent weeks when he had a very minimal role and scored all kind of touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 3 straight weeks. Sunday Night Football. No Sam Laporta for Detroit, out with a back injury. Brock Wright is questionable with an ankle injury, although it seems likely he'll go. Philadelphia, everyone's good to go. A.J. Brown, hurt feelings, not on the injury report. Monday night, we'll see what happens. No major names. Tyler Lockett's got a knee issue, seems likely to play. And again, Indianapolis Colts and New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck season's upon us all. Was that great? Funny about Tyler Shuck, right? Elijah Higgins. This is a great call on Mr. Scamper's part. I've mentioned this on the radio a couple times. Maybe that's why it's a great call, because I totally agree with it. But it's true. The second tight end there has a little more of a receiving role and could be a player to watch. So let's see what's going on in the chat before I get to the questions. I am Bob Harris. I'm glad you asked. I want to make sure there's no confusion here. There's only one of me, and I am it. Again, you'll find me at footballguys.com, the website, and you'll find me here every Saturday answering these questions. I appreciate you asking that one. It's my favorite question, or at least my favorite answer. I usually say it even when people don't ask, right? So I appreciate you asking. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, a lot of questions. I should get to them. I got an Am I crazy from Dane. Let's do this one. These are my favorite questions. I think every question is this, right? Like, I've been doing this 1,000 years now. I think every question is a form of am I crazy? Mariota versus Miami, Flacco at Pittsburgh currently in my lineup, Mahomes at Denver, Purdy in Arizona on my bench. Roast me or am I a genius? You are an insane genius with, like, Marcus Mariota's been pretty high floor. I don't know if he has the firepower to get the job done. Flacco definitely is in my lineup over Purdy for sure. I mean, I'm still playing Mahomes like he's Mahomes, but we all know the tough matchup. There's no Pat Surtain. That kind of has me dialed back. No Alex Singleton too, by the way. So I think the Mariota would be farther than I would go, Dame. I'm not going to lie. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think any of this is crazy. Like, so I think I want to say Mariota is my quarterback 15 to 16-ish. Purdy's up closer into my top 10. So it's not crazy. I still have Mahomes and Flacco ahead of him. I think Flacco's a great play in this game, though, either way. So no, not like totally crazy, slightly crazy. I feel like I can tell you this. BTJ needs to play, but will he play? I don't know. My Parker Washington shares aren't so sure. Seems like the sound is good. I see no complaints about that. That's excellent. Super. Great way to ease into Saturday on the West Coast. Great way here in the Central Time Zone as well. As soon as I'm fully caffeinated. All right. Let's get serious here. Love seeing everyone. This is great. This is a great group. If you're new to this chat and you're not sure how it works, you ask questions and I'll answer as many as I can, but also some smart people in the chat who will also chime in. You should chop it up, discuss there to your heart's content. I think it's very helpful because that's what we're doing. We're having a conversation here. Again, if you haven't been here before, you don't know this, but I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to tell you what I do, and I will. I will absolutely tell you what I'll do, but also we can talk about what you would prefer to do and see, just like Dame's question, am I crazy to? We can roll through that and get a feeling, and I'll put some context to whatever you're saying. Again, if you go read my in and out column, you'll see this. You'll see this, and you'll see my in and out column. You'll see kind of how I run through some of these situations, the logic, and that's the thing, right? This is all just like, this is not rocket science, people. It's making logical decisions based on the information you have at hand. We don't have all the information. We can't predict the future. We're playing a game of odds. We're looking at the probabilities of a range of outcomes, and we're playing the most probable end of that range, knowing that anything crazy can happen. Hi, Bob, said William Taylor, 9564. Need one in a flex. Pickens, Jameson Williams, RJ Harvey, Sean Tucker, standard non-PPR. Oh, that makes a difference. Well, it's probably going to be between Harvey and, like, I think Pickens is probably going to be ranked highly. I think I'd take a chance on Jameson Williams in standard league. He's my in and out column. I know it seems like I'm chasing points. It's because I am. But chasing points with context matters, right? And what is the context? There was a change of play callers. What's further context? Part of the discussion before the change of play callers was that John Morton, the offensive coordinator who was calling plays, wasn't making enough use of Jameson Williams. We saw heavy usage against Washington. It's a tougher matchup this week, I'll grant you that. But the expectations are fairly low. It's probably Harvey for me. I think we'll just simplify this. It'd be Pickens, Williams next, and Sean Tucker on the outside. And Sean Tucker is in the discussion for sure. Well, you're both here. Sound is good. Love the sound. Sound is my favorite thing. Oh, great show with Sigmund. I was on the couch with Sigmund this week. It was a ton of fun. I always love going on the couch. I think this is my third time this year. Love the couch. Love talking with Sig. He's a great guy. Love him. Non-PPR, need a wide receiver. You can go find that on the Audible channel at Football Guys. I think I've retweeted it. So check that out on X if you're looking there. Non-PPR, need a wide receiver in a flex. Tet McMillan in Atlanta. Tony Franklin versus Kansas City. Debo versus Miami. Yeah. I read the in and out, but scrambling with Indy on bye. I get the feeling. I know how that is. I'm probably going Tet McMillan and Troy Franklin. I like Debo's the let's just put this. Debo, if you read the in and out, is my out. It just hasn't been good. I've been a noted Debo denier for some time, but mostly because I'm right. There was a year in San Francisco, the final year in San Francisco, when it just wasn't working, and you could see it wasn't working. It looks the same to me right now. So I don't want to overstate the case. It's not, he's probably the smarter play than Franklin. Franklin, though, hit or miss, but when he hits, it's been fantastic. So I think I play that. Tet McMillan is the floor. Debo, also the floor. Troy Franklin, if you want to swing for the fence over Debo. The thing about Chris Rodriguez is they seem to want him to do something. Last week, they gave him some work, and then he got hurt. Couldn't finish a game. We still ended up seeing a lot of Bill. A lot of Bill is not great for us. Just turns out all the talk about Bill was not so. Maybe it comes to fruition at some point, right? Like I don't want to, you can't, base a player's success or lack of success on 10 games, right? You shouldn't. We do, but you shouldn't. But also the local reporters were basing a heck of a lot of superlatives on work in shorts and shoulder pads, right? So we'll see what happens with that situation. Rodriguez seems to be moving ahead. Got to stay on the field. Bam Knight, I'm just not sure, how much we're going to see him, if we see him at all. It's a late afternoon kickoff. I'd like to avoid that. If you decide on Debo, you got to go early, remember? So that's going to limit your options, later, if you do that. So, I already talked to you. There's Andrea. Trade Keenan and Tez for A.J. Brown. I had CD and London. I don't know what I expect from A.J. Brown. I mean, is the squeaky wheel going to get greased? Maybe. Is it going to be something that they keep greasing him every week? Nope. It is what it is right now. I called this coming into the season. First of all, there's not enough passing volume in this offense to satisfy Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown investors. Certainly not A.J. Brown investors who paid, the middle round 2 price on him. I felt the same about him and McConkey. Thought it was a little steep. McConkey seems to be coming on. A.J. Brown is not. A.J. Brown's unhappy. I don't know that the Eagles care if he's unhappy. They seem perfectly fine with him being unhappy as long as they're winning. So, again, there are going to be big games for him. You've got solid starters, right? Like London's been amazing. Last 3 weeks, London's wide receiver 1. He only played 2 of those games. He's like a target magnet, right? He can't help. So you've got CD in London. Taking a chance in your third spot with a high upside guy isn't horrible. I don't know if you need the floor play. I think Tez has been your kind of big play guy. And he's got to that point, to me, reminds me of Jalen McMillan last year, where when Baker Mayfield needs a touchdown, he's looking for that guy. So I don't know. I'm not enthusiastic Brown endorser, but I don't think in this spot, I think he's ranked around wide receiver 30. So you're playing him at a wide receiver 3 level. And he does have a ton of upside. Again, don't get me wrong here. He's one of the best receivers in all of football, right? It's undeniable. He's a top 5 talent in the game. He's not working this offense. Can we maybe consider the possibility the change of offensive coordinators here has not been helpful? Maybe not for Saquon Barkley, who's putting up seriously off point numbers. You can read about him in my in and out as well this week. Probably not in on him this week. Although playing him in season long, don't twist it up, people. This is read the context. Let's see what we got going on here. Hola, ¿cómo estás, Brad? Who is it? Brad Stewart, 7019. ¿Qué onda, amigo? Debo or Quentin Johnston. The smart play is Debo. Like, so I get into, I write the in and out. I write all these things all week. I have takes and I have views, and I talk myself into a space. So I try to step back from that space and be logical here. Debo over Quentin. He had 10 targets last week. Did Quentin Johnston. Didn't do a ton with him in a really super favorable matchup. It's another super favorable matchup, but there's lots of mouths to feed there. There are not lots of mouths to feed in Washington. I'd probably play the floor there. And when I say I'm out on a player in the in and out, it means I'm just out on the projection. Go read the article. You'll figure it out. I'm just looking to game the Football Guys projections. That's no mean feat. You should be checking out the Football Guys projections. It's Jason Wood, Moriel Tremblay, Sigmund Bloom do a fantastic job each week of putting out what their projected outcomes. And that's part of the baseline we're working from. That's where my rankings are derived from. I make my own adjustments based on my own views. Tight end Patrick Herbert. Okay. But man, that's a great resource. So you should use it. Footballguys.com is the website. Go there now. Oh. Debo is the smart play. Quentin Johnston, if he's like an outlier receiver, you need to swing for the fence. He's always going to be that, but he's got to play. They do have an early afternoon kickoff, but Debo's the early morning kickoff in Madrid. So you got to make that decision before you know about Quentin Johnston. That kind of adds to it. Patty B-B3C. It's a cat. I don't care. You had me at cat. You had me at the cat avatar. 2 questions. PPR, Knox or Fannin? Flex, Christian Watson, Tez Johnson, or DeMercado? I like all those flex plays as flex plays. I really do. I think DeMercado's been like red hot. Out of the doghouse, clearly. Great defensive matchup. 49ers have not been able to stop a damn thing. Injuries have just finally caught up. I think Fred Warner was the straw that broke the back, and they've had injuries since. They had injuries before, and but that one seemed to be the backbreaker for that defense. So I'm not against any of these guys. I don't love Baker Mayfield this week, so I might dial back on Tez Johnson, but thinking he might get a touchdown, great. Thinking Christian Watson might come up in that same way. In a really great matchup against the Giants. Maybe that's the direction you go. I do have high hopes for Jordan Love. He's my in at quarterback on my in and outs. Projected to finish his quarterback 20. He generally stomps the K-Pock out of great matchups, or has this year, and coming off a bad 2 weeks, right? Last 2 weeks bad. I'm going Fannin over Knox, and Fannin is my out, but it's because he's projected to be tight end 6. I still think he's a tight end 1 this week. Knox is not. Oh, look at Michael Kubiak with the belated Murphy. I will give my lovely fiance a hug for you, Michael Kubiak. Traded DK for Marks and Tet in PPR. I'd have done that. You got you. That's a win to me. I mean, DK Metcalf, it's a great matchup. We'll see what happens against the Steelers. We saw against the Bengals. We saw Aaron Rodgers 3 weeks ago throw 4 touchdowns. It was a great game. DK Metcalf. There was all the tight ends though, right? I mean, where are you, DK Metcalf? It's just not working. So I'm good with that one. Woody Marks seems to be a player on the rise. He's my in on my in and out column this week, going up against the Titans, projected for a tail end running back 2 finish. I think he'll outdo that. So yeah, I think that's a good trade. Tyrell McMillan's been wildly more productive and more consistently productive, even in a lousy offense or a lousy passing attack. Bryce Young. I need more from you, young man. He doesn't care what I need, but I'd like to let him know. Putting that in the universe for you, Bryce Young. I'm sure he has bigger fish to fry than my requests. PPR flex spot, Monongai versus Vikings. I don't like any of those. I'm sorry, Dan White Leather. Dan White Leather, 5551. It's a fascinating name. I read the whole names because I think they're interesting. I know YouTube does like half of that name, like puts the numbers on or whatever. At least they did to me. It's probably Charbonnet for me. I don't feel good about any of them. Charbonnet. Monongai, boy, we hardly knew ye. DeAndre Swift seems to be healthy enough. Mark Jerzinski, 4763 needs a tight end and a flex. PPR Gadsden at Jacksonville. Yes. Otten at Buffalo. That's a tough matchup. Tez at Buffalo. That's pretty tough matchup for Baker. Already playing Tucker at running back. I can't help you here. You're going to have to play one of those, right? You're going to have to play another Buccaneer against an angry Buffalo Bills team that's really good against quarterbacks. I'd probably go Otten for me. I mean, that's the floor play. Gadsden gives you upside and the floor, what I think is a reasonable floor, but lots of upside. Otten gives you a strong floor based on the workload he's been drawing. The target shares have been super solid for him. He hasn't done a ton with it. And Tez gives you the super high-end upside of potential touchdowns. PPR, Sutton or Addison? I have to look at my rankings and double check this one because I feel like, I mean, it's a great matchup for Addison, right? See how close it is. It's 26 and 27. Addison one spot ahead. So yeah, I would do that. I wanted to confirm what my gut was telling me if I actually had the intestinal fortitude. So little secret, I'm adjusting my rankings constantly. Every night I'm on the radio for 2 hours. We're taking phone calls. People are asking me questions about situations I hadn't previously thought of. And I'm looking at my rankings. I'm going, well, I wouldn't do that. And I make adjustments to my rankings on the fly. That's not one I've adjusted since the week started. That's one that was in, but I wanted to make sure because that I remember vaguely doing it, but I'm ranking hundreds of people, hundreds of players. So the fine, I got older this week. So memorizing those singular moves gets struck. Marks over Harvey. I am this week, but it's more about the matchups. Harvey has been fantastic at scoring touchdowns. We'll see what that role is this week without J.K. Dobbins. I'm guessing it'll be pretty robust, but also it's against the Chiefs, and it's a pretty tough matchup. Marks had, 27.9 fantasy points against the Titans when these team last played in week 4. Titans aren't stopping a darn thing, except Kamani Vidal. Yes, I acknowledge. I'm probably playing. I have Marks ahead of Harvey. I think our Football Guys projections have Harvey slightly ahead. Let me check that. That's one thing I like to do a lot as well. I'll check my rankings against what the projection teams have. The projection teams has Harvey at running back 18. They're projecting 14.5 points. Woody Marks 13.75 points. So it's very close as running back 21. And by the way, that's what, one more time for the people in the back who may not have heard me for the last time I said this, because I say this a lot. We are ranking linearly because that's how we rank, right? That's not how you should see this, though. You shouldn't see this as Harvey is 18 and Marks is 21. You should see this as these guys are both in the second half of the running back 2 range. That's their probable outcome. Believing we can predict with the granularity within a half point of which player is going to do better than the other on a coming Sunday when they're playing with an oblong spheroid that bounces funny ways is like a stretch, right? We're doing the logic. We're computing the numbers based on past history, tendencies, matchup, all those things. But man, it's the NFL on Sunday. It goes wild. So we're playing the probabilities, right? So my probability is Marks is got in a better spot. And that's based on the workload. I think over the 4 of the last 6 games, he's gotten the preponderance of the workload. Last week, he got 60 snaps to 10 for Marks. I think this ship has left the station, but Chubb is not going away. But there's a little bit of just some of the explanation, right? I'm going to admit right now, the funny part is we don't know what the outcome is. We're projecting outcomes. So if we're projecting them that close, part of this conversation has to be, well, how does the rest of my lineup look? How does my opponent's lineup look? Do I need to swing for the fence a little bit? Wow, Mark's in a great matchup where he scored 2 touchdowns last time. Might be a good swing for the fence. Well, so might Harvey, guy who's caught 3 touchdowns in a row. But you have to use that context, I think, to help you, sort through these issues. That's kind of how I'd like to approach it. Pardon me. True. Travion Henderson. Turns out that kid can play. Did Royal Slade tell us that? We're counting on him for Patriots insider info. I believe he did. All right. MJY147 weekly tight end queue for you in the chat. Non-PPR Kyle Pitts versus Panthers or Colston Loveland versus versus Vikings. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Colston Loveland truther here. I'm a believer. Don't know that I play him over Kyle Pitts against the Panthers, who are still like I know they shut out the Falcons the last time they played 30-0. They're still a really super favorable matchup for tight ends. I'm playing that probability. I love Colston Loveland, though. Want to see more from the young man. Let's see if there's been some moves here. Scampers, are we reporting anything? I have to scroll to the bottom of the chat to make sure Scampers hasn't scooped me on anything here. All right, I think we're up to speed. I'll get back to the previously scheduled programming. Coastal Elite, good morning, has the same decision in both leagues, 1.5 point PPR, the other to full PPR. Michael Wilson without Harrison or Tez Johnson in Buffalo. I like Michael Wilson for the floor. I like Tez Johnson for the scoring upside. Again, I'm not projecting Baker Mayfield to have as great a game as he has. I don't know if it's going to be like a single digit game like we saw 2 weeks ago, or a low double digit game like we saw 3 weeks ago, but it might be. The Bills just don't give up a lot of points to opposing quarterbacks. So, that has me concerned about Tez Johnson. Michael Wilson seems like a little bit of a stretch, but the numbers have been fine with Jacoby Brissett, who will once again be starting. So I think that's how I play it. I feel like either way, half point PPR, full PPR, they're fairly relative to me. I think there comes a point where you pay a little more attention to it at running back, down the ranks a little bit, but not in this spot. Michael Wilson, I think, is going to have more opportunities. The official Football Guys rankings would disagree with me. Let me just throw that out there, too. Let's see what that is. Let's see what that number is. I know I'm taking too much time on this. Tez Johnson is, worse than I thought. I want to say our projection for Michael Wilson is 44. I know this because I wrote about it. Tez Johnson is 35. So there you have it, if that helps. A little more context, a little additional information for your consideration. Andrea Soslowski, 5409. Hi, Andrea. Wandale versus Green Bay, Jennings versus Arizona, Gadsden versus Jacksonville. I probably play Gadsden. Wandale, it could be great with Jameis Winston. I mean, we've seen Jameis Winston come in and fuel some wide receiving fires, right? Do I know it'll be Wandale Robinson? It was Jerry Jeudy in Cleveland, and it made sense. He just honed in on him, got tons of targets, double-digit targets almost every game with but I don't know. He works with other guys in practice on the scout team who may be playing this week with the injuries and issues. So I do like Wandale Robinson every week. I like Juwan Jennings every week, but Pearsall's back. I'm going Gadsden. I don't know. They keep saying, positive things and keep not doing positive things. They're not mad. Their deeds are not matching their words. So I'm truly in the dark about this one. They've said all along, he's getting closer, yet never does he get on the field. So we'll see. I watched for that 3-week window. What is this week? It's going to be tough. Like, if he doesn't come back, if he's not back on the field, if they don't open the practice week by week 15, I don't know why they'd bring him back at that point, unless they are hoping for something on a playoff run. That just seems like a reach. Hello, Mike Brillhart, 8218 in Akron, Ohio. Thank you for the birthday greetings. Happy birthday to you. 2 weeks ago, I would have won my matchup if I started Joe Flacco over Justin Herbert. Which one this week? I want to say I have Herbert ahead against Jacksonville. I'm a huge Flacco guy. I mean, I'm not going to there's no, let's see what the projections say. The projections say Herbert is 7, Flacco is 10. I have Flacco higher than that, but not higher than, let me just double check. Where's my darned? That's my projections. I have a lot of windows open, people. Lighten up. There it is. Yeah, so I have Flacco. I have Herbert 8, Flacco 9. So, yes, I'm still playing Herbert against Jacksonville. They're beat up. Herbert's phenomenal. They don't have the same pass rush that we saw against. I was out, last week I was out on Herbert in my in and out. He was projected for quarterback 3, finishes quarterback 15 for the exact reason I thought. The pass rush was more than he could bear. I don't think that'll be a problem against the Jaguars. Sutton versus Kansas City or Christian Watson against the New York Giants. The matchup says Christian Watson. I don't know that I would have the intestinal fortitude to do that. Let's see what the projectors say just for giggles here. I have Sutton ahead of Watson. What do they have? They have Sutton well ahead of Watson. Yeah, Sutton is wide receiver what? 27. No, Watson is 42. It's a tough defensive matchup, but not a prohibitive for the wide receivers. Mike Brillhart, 82-18 is back. I need a flex between Kenneth Walker, Trey Tucker, Juwan Jennings, Jacoby Myers. Boy, Trey Tucker is the guy that is very interesting this week going up against Dallas. Can they get the passing game rolling enough? I play Kenneth Walker, but Trey Tucker is of interest. That is true. That referring back to the Flacco Mariota. All right, Brad Stewart, 70-19. Need 2 of these 4 in a full point PPR. Aaron Jones, Kamani Vidal, Harvey is. So I'm probably going Jones and Kamani Vidal here. RJ Harvey is perfectly playable in this case. Quentin Johnston is not in the conversation in this case. Could have a touchdown. Could change things pretty easily. Let's see where these guys all sit in my. Yeah. I have Vidal at 18, Jones at 21, Harvey at 23. So all those guys are playable. That's the order I have them. If you see it differently, play differently. But those 2 of those 3 over what you're getting. Iron Eddie, Pickens, Adams, Chase Brown. Well, you could play. I'd probably just play. I'm playing Chase Brown. I'd like to play Adams. If he plays, I'll play him. If he doesn't, you can fall back to Pickens, who's playing on Monday night. Very convenient for you, Iron Eddie. Did you ask me a question on X that I saw, but I didn't answer? It's been very busy. If I didn't, I apologize. All right, Drone Force 81.99 needs 2 wide receivers in a flex. Nico, Debo, Devontae, Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren and Nico for me. And Devontae. Easy call for me. Mark Jasinski, 4763, wants to know beat playoff stash. He means best. McLaren, Godwin, or Ayuk? Probably McLaurin. He's the closest to coming back. That's the only reason. Thank you, Andrea. Hey, guys, full PPR. Please pick one. Derrick Henry, Tez Johnson, or Ricky Pearsall. Tough matchup for Derrick Henry. Probably not tough enough to keep me from playing him ahead of those other 2. If it was somebody, it would be Pearsall, but it's not that close. I currently Trump Force 81, 99. Currently rostered Dart with Flacco as my backup. Okay. Someone dropped Jordan Love with Burrow pending a return. Would you drop Flacco for Love? I would probably drop one of those defenses, probably the Packers. Sad. I'm going to keep Flacco until he's not playing. I'm guessing Dart will be back. So this is tough, right? Because I'm guessing Dart will be back next week. But if he's not, I'd still want to play Flacco, almost certainly. But don't know for sure if Flacco would be playing, so I'd want to have Love as a fallback option. That's probably what I do. Scampers on my side. Thank you. I wish I could predict the future, as we all do. Which defense? Can KC or Denver or Atlanta versus Carolina? KC versus Denver or Atlanta versus Carolina? I'd probably take Atlanta. That'd be my choice. What? Okay, I read that wrong. Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Southern Trendkill is actually Pantera's best album. That is wrong. Vulgar Display of Power is their best album. But I will agree that Southern Trendkill should be ahead of Cowboys from Hell. Can we compromise here? Like, Vulgar Display of Power is on the list of perfect albums. There's a list of perfect albums at Bob Harris's house. Vulgar Display of Power is on it. What else is on it? Megadeth. Rust in Peace is on it. Slayer, Seasons of the Abyss is on it. Metallica. What else? Who's next? What else? Alice in Chains. It's on it. Vulgar Display of Power's on that. It's Judas Priest, Stained Class is on that. Anyway. Juwan Jennings. Ooh. All right, Bob Hope 123. Juwan Jennings, Swift, White in my flex PPR. Thanks. Probably Swift for me. On the Couch. Go listen to that. It's fantastic. Because Sigmund. It's always fantastic. Mission accomplished, Bob Hope 123. I think I think his role is going to be the third guy without Horton, right? So, I mean, like, would I play this game? It would depend on my options, Dame. I don't know if the Cooper Cup's going to show up every week. It's possible Shaheed opens things up for Cooper Cup more, or the things are opening up for Cooper Cup more. It depends on the options, Dame. Like, I do think I think we'll see more, but part of that was they just didn't pass last week, right? They ran the ball 35 times. They got out to a 21-0 lead. I think we'll see more. I hope they have to pass more. We are in the home stretch, says the Troubled Mind 3557. By the way, speaking of home stretch, thanks everyone for coming. In case you just tuned in and you're going, who the hell is this guy? Why is he saying all this stuff about fantasy football? Because I'm Bob Harris, and I say stuff about fantasy football. You'll find my work at footballguys.com, my weekly articles, the Fantasy Notebook on Thursday, the Fantasy Face-Off with Gary Davenport on Friday, the In and Out call today just out. You can find all links to all those on my X feed right now. Also, radio, Fantasy Sports Radio, the Football Die Hard Show, 8 to 10, Monday through Friday. Saturday nights as well on the NFL channel and Fantasy Sports Radio from 8 to 11. Also Sunday on the pregame show. Also, you can catch me on the Daily Update podcast put out by Football Guys, 10 minutes every weekday morning. Just the news you need to get your day started, a little bit of fantasy analysis, quick hitters, just to make sure you know what's going on. We cover all the top stories in really short order. There's your answer. Debo's a hard read. He's slow, and his success has been breaking tackles that he was. That is Wayne. That's what. Right. And like, I'll just say this: he hasn't hit like 50 yards in the last 4 games. Like, he needs to. He's just not the same guy that he was. He's just not. I agree with this. All right, Jeff Bolt 73. Good morning, Jay Bolt. Flex spot, 1 point PPR. Would you go Woody Marks over Metcalf? I would. Jeff Bolt, Jay Bolt 73. And another 1 point PPR. Who would you rather play, Christian Watson or Tez Johnson? Tez Johnson against Buffalo. Christian Watson against the Giants. It's a great matchup. Like, they're both kind of at the tail end in the what the heck flex territory. If you felt a big affinity to Watson given the matchup, I wouldn't blame you. By the way, if we Oh, look, Wendy Early's in the house. I'm getting distracted by all the chat. It's crazy. All right. I need to drop one, a wide receiver. Scott Against Evil says. Choices are, how come you don't have numbers at the end of your name, Scott versus Against Evil? The rest of us have numbers. Well done by you. I think Scampers doesn't have numbers either, does he? Scampers has no numbers. Does Royal Slate have numbers? You guys, man. I feel like this is some kind of cheat code you guys know. Royal Slate 255. You got numbers. Dame's got numbers. Andrea's got numbers. Scampers, what's up with the no numbers? You too, Scott Against Evil. All right. And yes, I know it's Master of Puppets is the album. For crying out loud. Dirt is the Alice in Chains album. I thought it went without saying. All right, need to drop one. Choices are Darius Slayton, Xavier Worthy, Parker Washington, or Tez Johnson. Who am I dropping? Right now, probably Darius Slayton. Don't know when he'll be back. Like Parker Washington's got to roll. Tez Johnson have legitimate roles. It would be Slayton, then Worthy, then you only need to drop one. I don't know. It'd be a tough call after that. Appreciate that, Dan White Leather 5551. That's the thing, right? Like I triangulate myself. Like I do it while we're having these discussions. I'm looking at my rankings. I'm looking, going with what my hunches are, going with what the projections say, triangulating those things or whatever I need to do to sort it out. But yeah, never a single piece of information unless it's like a super strong hunch that I have. I just feel like I'm playing that guy. And you can do that too, but think it through. Bruce Jacobson, 7243, Rodriguez, Mason, or Algier and Standard on the Taylor buy. It's tough. I might go Rodriguez there. It's Rodriguez, Algier, Mason. And Algier, I mean, you can make the argument. It's the regular argument. I mean, he can score touchdowns at any time. Maybe that's just the best call, right? I bet the projections have him first for that reason. Let me see. Yeah, it's Algier 36, Mason 41. Yeah, so that's about right. I think it's Algier, Rodriguez, Mason is the order of the projections. That feels about right. This week we'll be telling to Trouble Mind 3557 how the Broncos and Bucks backfield shake out. RJ's efficiency and if Tucker gets uptick in usage. I agree with that. Fingers crossed on Dobbins, Bucky a few weeks away. At least 1 week, and I'm with you. It might be two. Might be two. All right, Poe Crack 321. Michael Wilson or Parker Washington, half-point PPR. Parker Washington is the play for me. And I like Wilson. Trade away James Cook and Sutton for Quentin Johnson, Rome Odunze, and Trey Benson. RBs are JT Gibbs. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like you're getting two wide receivers there, one that's very playable, one that's semi-playable. And that seems to be a greater need than running backs. Yes. Shaboy Poppy. Mr. Scampers, I need another to go with my white leather jacket. Do you like color coordinate your leather jackets and your motorcycles like the rest of us? Come on, get with the program. Good morning. Couple fun PPR problems, says Irishish. What is it? Irish? I'm probably saying that wrong. Henry or Judkins, separate league, Marks or Judkins. Last, Debo or Sutton. Sutton over, well, I'd play Sutton over Debo myself. But, it's a tough matchup. That one's closer. I think the projections like Debo better than I do. Separate leagues, Mark or Judkins, Henry or Judkins. I'm probably a slight lean Henry over Judkins. I get it. It's a tough matchup. See if the projectors agree with me. They do. And it would also be Marks over Judkins. Both those. Ravens have been better. Ravens are playing better defense. They're healthy and they're just playing better defense. It's been interesting. All right, I got a few minutes left. Let's see if I can get through some more of your questions. Do you think Njoku hogs over Fannin? Not really. I mean, like Fannin is the leading receiver on the team. He's off the injury report, or no, he's questionable but expected to play. My bad. So you'll know that. I mean, the numbers, the touchdowns are unpredictable. It's hard to say what's going to happen with touchdowns, but the workload and the production has gone to Fannin all year. He's great with the ball in his hands. He's the leading receiver on the team right now. I don't know that changes. The touchdowns could. Pearsall versus Carr. I'm probably playing Ted McMillan over Pearsall, but I think it's a fair conversation. Like if you had a wild hunch that Pearsall was going to come out of the chute and be the same guy he was before he was hurt, you could make that argument. I'm not making that argument. I'm playing Ted McMillan this week. Ibuka, McConkey, Pickers, Jameson Williams, C. I think there's more to this. Here we go. Start to Ibuka, McConkey, Pickens, Jameson Williams, probably Ibuka and McConkey. You can make arguments in a standard for Pickens and Williams, but I'm not making that argument. I mean, I could. I mean, I already made the argument for Williams, why I like Williams. And you can read my in and out column if you missed that explanation. I appreciate that. Trade away Gaston, Swift, DeMarcado for Tyler Warren and Hampton, my team below. Trade Swift, Gaston, Swift, DeMarcado. I'm probably not doing that. Seems like you're giving up too much for not enough in return. Don't have an exact timetable on Hampton. I mean, Warren, you're getting one of the best players at his position. You might still have a top 5 player at that position. DeMarcado's kind of throwing, not doing it right now. Is Garrett Wilson or Slayable droppable for Ridley if he goes? Well, I mean, I suppose they're both, Slayton is droppable. Garrett Wilson they say he wants to come back after week 15. I don't know that he will. So he's out until then. Slayton, I don't know if or when he'll be back. He's kind of a hit or miss player, mostly miss. He's come close to making some big plays. That said, I'm not eager to play Ridley any given week. I'd have to be in a serious bind to play Ridley. I mean, right now, even if he's healthy, that team is scoring 14 points a game. Scampers agrees. Milton Williams with a high ankle sprain on the defensive news. Appreciate that. Tucker or Knight Tucker for me. Oh my. Oh no, even more. Yes. Williams or Flacco. Flacco for me this week. It's Caleb in this group. I like him, well, almost in the order you have him. I'd play Mills after Darnold, but I think Mills is in a good spot too. Trey Tucker or Christian Watson in PPR flex. It's Trey Tucker for me, given the matchup. All right, Hennessy Black. No changes based on what you have here. Who does not get a TD? I think McMillan's the least likely to get a TD any given week. I am not the best. but I am here. Availability is the best ability. And I'm here every week at this time, noon, for 1 hour, answering as many questions as I can. If you have room, yes, but only if you have room. Should I trade Zach? Juan Pena, official 24? That's great. Should I trade Zach Charbonnet, Jordan Addison for Cortland Sutton? Well, you're never playing Charbonnet. I mean, it would take a number of injuries, right? I like Addison. I like stupid Michael Fabiano. No offense, Michael Fabiano. Offered me a Addison for Sutton trade. I wasn't interested in it earlier this year. It's closer than that, though. Lateralis, perfect. Very close. Enema's closer. Enema's more perfect. Every Tool album is perfect. Let's not lie. I'm probably doing this. He's round. I'm 50-50 on this, honestly. Because it's Alice in Chains, my buddies. They're not really grunge, but they're in that era. I mean, I think they're lumped into that. STP was great. Wilder was great. I don't know. I'm still on the fence on this one, Juan Pena, official 24, if I'm being honest with you. I have regrets that I didn't do it, but I don't know that I'd do it now. You know, Charbonnet's not, just a throw in, that doesn't really factor in. It's basically Addison for Sutton for me. I don't know that I do that. I don't think I would. Need a streamer at tight end. Colson, Loveland, Hawkinson, or Big Bad Pat Freiermuth. He scored 2 touchdowns to Big Bad Freiermuth last time these two teams played, but it's been hit or miss. It would probably be him. I don't like any of these. I like Loveland, but I don't know if this is the game for him. Probably Freiermuth. What? Oh, wow. We can remove our numbers? Like, look at me. I'm just sitting here following the powers that be and doing whatever they tell me, and I'm not questioning their authority. Thank you, Dame. I appreciate that. This is why these people, this is why you listen to the chat, people. This is why you listen to the chat. Other options to place Shaheed, Sean Tucker, Keon Coleman, Freiermuth. I think those are all in the same range, right? Like, I'd like to take a chance on Sean Tucker, but I don't know if he's going to get enough work. I'm looking. The projectors like Coleman more than they like Shaheed. I think I do too. Exactly. Who for my wide receiver 1, 2, 3 flex spot? You want 4 people out of this long list? I don't have enough time to do this. Juan Pena official. I've only got like 1 minute left. I want to get some other questions. That's a long question. You need to narrow it down for me, please. I appreciate you. I need my flex. My options are Trey Tucker. Of this group, I play Sutton. He did. 2 touchdowns in that game. Schultz or Fannin? I'm going Schultz here. I'd probably go White over Debo and Shakir. All right, I'm almost out of time. I've almost timed out here. Oh, rain? Oh, my gosh. Irie-ish. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Rams versus Rams in Seattle. That's the game. Vikings like Tucker. Hey, Bob, for the great insight. I usually go to listen to this on Sundays. PPR. Well, let me get you in this question. PPR Higgins, P. Washington, or Sutton. Probably Higgins of that group. That's a lie. I'm not humble at all. Why do you think Geno Smith is doing poorly? The blocking has not been great, and the receiving core hasn't been as high end enough for him. The running game hasn't been good enough for blockers to take the pressure off with the rushing it. It is not too tough. I will walk 5. I don't know who that is, but I know that song. Is TreVeyon Henderson low yards per carry a concern for Thursday? No. What low? What low yards per carry? Proclaimers. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks, everyone. I got to get out of here and get on with the next thing. Marshawn Lloyd or Brandon Aiyuk play. I think Brandon Aiyuk might. I don't think Lloyd will. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you all. Appreciate you coming. Again, hit footballguys.com. Read my work. The in and out column is out today. Interesting stuff there. 9 players kind of going against the norm or with the norm or against the grain or with it. Depends. Fantasy Notebook on Thursdays. A lot of in-depth information there. I got coaches on the hot seat in that one and tons of other stuff. My Face Off 5 Questions article with Gary Davenport on Friday. Some interesting information there as well. And every weekday morning, the Football Guys YouTube or the Football Guys Daily Update Podcast, 10 minutes of me and Mike Dempsey discussing news, notes of interest to get your day started and get you on your way to greatness. And of course, SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, weeknights 8 to 10, Football Diehards program, me and Mike Dempsey. Saturday night, me and Mike Dempsey, 8 to 11 on the NFL radio and the Fantasy Channel. It's a simulcast, people. It's very fancy. And also on Sundays, me and Jeff Mans. Yes, and thank you all, man. I appreciate the chat so much for coming in here and getting stuff done. Appreciate you all. We will see you here next week at the same very time. Bye. You have to hit the end stream button to end the stream.